So I wasn't planning on making a video today. Um, hasn't been the best day, but I had something happen or read something on Facebook that made me feel like I needed to post something today. I've had some thoughts going through my head since my last video a little over a week ago, and I've had a lot of comments about how that video helped them or people appreciated being able to see what's under the exterior and how dealing with anxiety and depression is. And I think more people than not are struggling with one or both of those things than we really realize. I had several people after my last video comment about another song by the same artist that I discussed in my last video, Lauren Daigle, by the name of Rescue. So I listened to that song, and it's a lot different than the other one, but it's still a very good song. And so I've been thinking a lot about that term rescue in my thoughts in the past little while. And it's a very interesting word to me. It's a very interesting concept, because to be rescued means that there's a real state of urgency, that there's a real specific thing that we need to be saved from at the moment. And a lot of times I think with depression and anxiety, I have described it as drowning, but it seems like sometimes it's over a long period of time. But it just gets to a point where I feel like I'm just so overwhelmed with what's going on, and I'm gasping for air, and I'm scared, and I'm not sure which way to turn, and hoping and praying that something will calm the storm. And it makes me think of the Bible story, or what happened in the Bible when Jesus was on land and his disciples were out on a ship, and a storm had come, and the ship was being tossed in the waves, and it was a very long storm, and the disciples were really scared. And how Christ watched that, and this is when he walked on the water. And one of my favorite talks about this topic is by S. Michael Wilcox, and it's called The Fourth Watch. And in this talk, he mentions how back in Bible times the day was broken into half, and the normal day was from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., and nighttime was divided into watches. So the first watch was from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., second watch was from 9 p.m. to 12 p.m., and so on. And so the fourth watch was from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. And how Christ waited until the fourth watch to save the disciples, to walk on water, to go and rescue them, to calm the storm. And how I think a lot of us are first or second watch people, that when there's a trouble or when there's a storm coming, we really would like to be rescued in the first or second watch. But how God is a fourth watch God. And sometimes what we're waiting for takes a long time to get to us. One of the things he says is, when you feel somewhat desperate, when it seems like your prayers aren't answered and the winds still blow, take comfort in the knowledge that he is on the hillside watching. Remember, you might not know that he's watching as you struggle in the boat, but he is on the hillside watching, and he will come. But he generally comes in the fourth watch, after all we can do. And that's a really difficult concept to grasp, because sometimes you wonder, how much longer am I going to have to endure this, or how much am I going to have to deal with? And the fourth watch sometimes is a long time coming. And, a lot of people say that, as all you have to do is at the very moment that you start praying, you'll feel the Spirit, or the burden will be lifted. And I haven't found that there have been times that I've really struggled for a long period of time waiting for any kind of answer or any type of comfort, and it hasn't come. There was a friend of mine, we're talking once several years ago about the youth, and how when they're struggling, he said all they have to do is turn to the Lord, and the Lord will start helping him. And I said, that hasn't always worked for me. that sometimes it's taken a really long time for the Spirit to be felt. Now, that could have been my problem. I could have been the one that wasn't listening. But just because it doesn't come that very minute doesn't mean that it's not coming at all. And that I know Christ will always be there to help us. So along with this story, reminded me of another song by Kelly Reed, and it's called Cleanse You. And she's talking also about a ship and being tossed in the sea and feeling like you're drowning and wanting to give up and asking, why am I here? Why did you bring me here to just drown me instead of, what I'm supposed to be learning? And the chorus turns to the Lord speaking in that, I didn't bring you here to drown you. I brought you here to cleanse you and to teach you to be better and to grow. And I think sometimes when we're in the storms of life, that's a really difficult thing to remember. And at those times, we have to remember about hope, that we have hope that he's coming, that we have hope that it's going to be resolved, and that he will be there to help us, even when sometimes we don't feel like he's there, when we feel like he's just leagues away watching us instead of helping us. There's a quote by Elder L. Whitney Clayton that says, in those moments when the light of your faith is dimmed, let your hope for the Savior's love and grace. Let me say that again. In those moments when the light of your faith has dimmed, let your hope for the Savior's love and grace, found in his gospel and in his church, overcome your doubt. I promise that he stands ready to receive you. Over time, you will come to see that you have made the best choice you possibly could have made. Your courageous decision to believe in him will bless you immensely and forever. So, just to testify again, that when times are hard and when you're going through things that you don't expect and that you don't think are fair or that are going to drown you, that Christ is always there. And we have to have faith and hope that he's watching and he will take care of us. But sometimes it's the fourth watch. And that we have to deal with the first watch, the second watch, and the third watch. And sometimes the very last hour of the fourth watch. And I testify to you that the things that we're going through, or I'm going through, or that you're going through, are there to help and to teach you. And by going through them, not only will your faith be strengthened, but you'll be able to reach out to other people and be the hands of comfort and hope to others. I hope this reaches whoever it's supposed to reach today, and why I was prompted to make it today instead of waiting like I had planned on. I hope you are doing great. Thanks. Bye.